What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to DRU Reviews, my weekly show that houses all of my comic book reviews, my previews for Comic Book Wednesdays, and any random thoughts that I might have along the way. Episode 2 is jam-packed with reviews for you guys, as I take a closer look at Steve Rogers' Captain America number 2, Spider-Man Deadpool number 6, Captain Marvel number 6, which is a Civil War II tie-in, Extraordinary X-Men number 11, and Rick and Morty number 15. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Extraordinary X-Men number 11 by Jeff Lemire, with art by Humberto Ramos, Victor Olazaba, and Edgar Delgado, is the fourth issue in this series that ties into the Apocalypse Wars event. In pursuit of 600 artificially created mutant embryos, Colossus and his team of young mutants are flung 1,000 years into a dystopian future ruled by Apocalypse. After Storm and the X-Men arrive to save them, they find that Colossus has been corrupted by the power of Apocalypse. I'll be referring to him as Colossalips from this point forward. Colossalips is fighting alongside the four horsemen of Apocalypse, Deadpool, Moon Knight, a Clintar symbiote, and Man-Thing. Yes, Man-Thing. Yeah, I'm excited as well that Man-Thing's in this book. Too bad he's only in 2 panels on the same page and then inexplicably disappears from the story. Anyhow, the X-Men lose the embryos in the ensuing battle with the Horsemen, and in a last-ditch effort to save the species, they run head-on into Apocalypse's domain. Issue 11 starts with the action turned up to 11. We get the symbiote who has taken possession of Old Man Logan, squaring off against Jean Grey. Deadpool battles Iceman, and Colossalips has to square off against his team of young X-Men. This issue also had the subplot of young Sapna running away from X-Haven. She's been having horrible visions of her murdering Illyana Rasputin, and she wants to leave before Illyana has the chance to fall victim to her evilness. Meanwhile, in Omega World, Storm and Nightcrawler take on Moon Knight as they make a beeline for the top of Apocalypse's pyramid. We finally get our chance to see Apocalypse for the first time after 3 months of this meandering story that happens to bear his name. He is stretched thin, using all of his power to hold Omega World together. He taunts Storm that he's already destroyed the embryos that they've come so far for. And without thinking of the consequences, Nightcrawler stabs Apocalypse through the torso, killing him, and kickstarting the total collapse of Omega World. To say that Apocalypse Wars has been an X-Men crossover would be generous. There are 3 different stories taking place in 3 different titles at the moment, but Extraordinary X-Men has been the best of the 3 by far. It's been a slow burn so far with the overarching story, but there have been some fantastic locations, epic action, and some great interaction between the young X-Men, which is what makes X-Men so great in the first place. Jeff Lemire has done a nice job with these characters and has crafted a fully realized world in this series. And in this issue, we get a little bit of Apocalypse himself. I feel that the overall arc is not up to par, but I had a lot of fun with this issue. The art in this series, however, is a total knockout. Humberto Ramos' character designs are absolutely phenomenal, fresh and updated while paying homage to the X-Men of the 70s and 80s. His work is dynamic and high energy in every panel, and Olazaba adds an incredible amount of depth and texture through his inks. Factor in Edgar Delgado's fantastic, vibrant color palette, and that adds up to one of the most aesthetically pleasing books on the shelf. While I felt this is one of the best looking books that came out this week, and I had a great deal of fun reading the action-packed story, the overall experience felt a bit hollow. Is that going to be the extent of Apocalypse in this story? Are we going to bleed into the other X titles and tie everything together? At this point, it doesn't seem very likely that Apocalypse Wars will come off as a cohesive event through all 3 books. Great action-packed issue, beautifully rendered, but simply a special piece of a flawed whole. Extraordinary X-Men number 11 gets a 3.5 out of 5. Captain Marvel number 6 is a Civil War II tie-in written by Ruth Fletcher Gage and Christos Gage with art by Chris Anka. This issue takes place after the Celestial Invasion, but before the Thanos ambush, and starts with Carol Danvers and Alpha Flight enjoying some well-deserved downtime after pitching in to save existence as we know it. Carol also gets to spend some quality time with Rhodey as we explore their burgeoning relationship in this book. But all good things must come to an end, and Carol is called before the Board of Governors of Alpha Flight. They chastise her for her poor performance in recent events, and question why the response time to the Celestial invasion was so efficient in comparison. Carol is wary of letting the board know about Ulysses' existence, but she does tell them that the intel they received was from the Inhumans. The board's final decision is for Carol to explore the Inhuman prediction method and determine its validity. After the meeting, a Kree representative lets Carol know that an old adversary, Dr. Minerva, is on Earth currently and in possession of an alien biological weapon. Alpha Flight jumps into action. They're able to stop the weapon, but not before it goes off, costing several humans their lives. Minerva gets away, and Carol, devastated by her inability to stop the weapon in time, refuses to wait for Minerva to show her face again. She wants the inside track, and she wants to talk to Ulysses. This issue did a lot for me concerning Carol Danvers' motivations in Civil War II. Her failure to stop Minerva's weapon in time, paired with her directive to investigate Ulysses' abilities, gives her much more motivation for wanting to stop these horrific events before they happen. And her closeness with Rhodey also lends a lot more emotional weight to her state of mind after his death. Carol is not getting center stage in the Civil War II story, so it's nice to see her character develop more here. Chris Anka's art style is a classic comic strip style. It does lack detail in some panels, and the action, which is scarce in this issue, feels generic and falls flat. It isn't bad, but there's nothing memorable or exciting going on here visually at all. This book was a good read if you find yourself questioning Carol's motivation in the Civil War II main story, but the lackluster presentation does fall flat. I'm giving this book a 2.5 out of 5. Spider-Man Deadpool number 6 is a special guest issue written by the hilarious Scott Aukerman from Comedy Bang Bang, with the co-creator of Hydra Bob, Razzmatazz and Riley Brown on art. This issue is an interlude and has zero to do with the ongoing Spider-Man Deadpool arc, as it follows Deadpool as he goes to Hollywood to perform stunts in his very own Deadpool movie. Spidey, as Deadpool's most Hollywood-savvy friend, agrees to tag along for an associate producer's credit, and hilarity ensues. A shady studio executive, a Ryan Reynolds ripoff playing the star, and a villain in a pink mocap suit called the Salmon Stuntman. This book is full of jokes and gags. I love Scott Aukerman's comedy style and thought I'd really enjoy this book, and luckily I was not disappointed. Quips and madcap fun run throughout this story, and a few times I found myself legit laughing out loud. This story is pure fluff, but why the hell are you picking up Spider-Man Deadpool anyway? For all the incredible pathos? Razzmatazz and Riley Brown is an experienced Deadpool artist and has a super fun cartoony style that perfectly fits this off-the-wall madcap story. The action is solid, and his ability to show emotional range with his two leads being fully masked characters is quite impressive. I really enjoyed this issue, and I cannot wait for Scott Aukerman's next foray into writing comics. 4.5 out of 5. Steve Rogers' Captain America number 2 by Nick Spencer and Jesus Saez is the second issue focusing on the recent return to power of the original Captain America. This issue wastes absolutely zero time in revealing the origin of Captain America's Hydra status, as it shows the entire story through the eyes of the villainous Red Skull. S.H.I.E.L.D. scientists had been experimenting on fragments of the Red Skull's cosmic cube when it turned into a sentient being and took the form of a young girl named Kobik. Seeking out the companionship of her former master, Kobik went to the Red Skull. Bored with his current state of power, Skull indoctrinates Kobik into the ways of Hydra and enacts his master plan to corrupt Steve Rogers and tear his entire world down, piece by piece. The Skull was embedded in Pleasant Hills and was the mastermind of everything, including Baron Zemo's rebellion and the restoration of Steve Rogers, knowing that Kobik would make him Hydra. I really didn't expect Nick Spencer to spill the beans on this one so quickly, but I pretty much have to say I called it on this one. It was fun to focus on our villain's perspective and see the root of our conflict, no matter how convoluted it may be. And I feel that the true value of this story isn't in the reveal, but in the narrative opportunities that lie ahead for our characters. Science's art in this issue is consistent with the first. The story is light on action and heavy on exposition, so there isn't a great deal of dynamic splash pages, but the book's layout flows very well and it's very easy to read. As a second issue, setting up a unique view of Captain America, I felt Spencer did a great job explaining the players and all their motivations. But I had hoped for a slower burn on the origin story of Hydra Cap. The art in this issue was solid, and I feel like I'm more interested in where Hydra Cap is going moving forward, as opposed to how he became Hydra in the first place. After all the excitement that issue number 1 caused, there's very little they could do to keep issue 2 from becoming a disappointment. But they kept my attention for another month regardless. 4 out of 5. Written and drawn by Tom Fowler, Rick and Morty number 15 continues the adventures of your favorite drunken super genius grandpa through space and time. After being goaded into an argument with Jerry over the noble nature of sport, Rick takes Jerry and Morty to the biggest game in the galaxy, where parents bet on their children as they fight to death in a giant murdertorium. When it comes to comic book adaptations of licensed properties, more times than not, it's a hollow cash grab devoid of any substance whatsoever. But somehow, Rick and Morty avoids that trap quite adeptly. This issue, once again, finds a way to speak in Dan Harmon's voice, as these writers have a firm grasp on what makes these characters work, and each issue feels ripped directly from the TV series. The art in issue number 15 is consistent with the television series in character design and tone. Cartoony, yet strangely visceral, and slightly deviant. The only thing that this book is missing is the show's incredible voice talent, but my imagination reads in their voices anyway. Another great issue in this fantastic series, which is the only thing holding me over until season 3 of the show premieres next year. If you like the show Rick and Morty, you will love the Rick and Morty comic book. Pick this one up. 4.5 out of 5. There's some sweet looking books right there. Now let's take a look at a sweet looking action figure. Was at Walgreens tonight, found this gem. Marvel Legends series, Namor. It's an incredible sculpt on this figure. He's got the trident right there. Some interchangeable hands so he can give high fives. This figure is sick. Got a little bit of a bend in the card at the top here. Not a huge deal. I do open these figures and display them. On the back you get an advertisement for the Giant Man Wave. Hopefully more of those will be coming out soon, and I'll be able to pick up my Black Panther and Red Guardian, who I'm missing. And nice look at Namor there on the side of the box. There he is again on the other side of the box. His name logo on the top of the box. This is badass. Let's crack it open. So Namor here is a very dynamic figure. Really like the sculpt on this guy. Nice accessories. He's got the extra hands, which come in handy. I have him posed right there, holding his trident, giving some sort of Atlantean salute. He's recently been killed by Squadron Supreme in the comics. So I'm excited to have Namor living currently in my Marvel Legends collection. Sweet figure, but what I want to know is what's coming out in stores this Wednesday. Every Wednesday, new comic books drop in stores. But what are you going to buy? I'm here to tell you guys what you should be looking forward to this week. Last week saw the release of a couple of different annuals and the Dark Knight 3 Master Race number 5. This week, DC is back to its regularly scheduled programming with the release of Justice League Rebirth number 1. This issue sees the pre-New 52 Superman joining the Justice League, which should be an interesting dynamic. We're also getting second issues in the ongoing series of Green Lanterns, Green Arrow, and Tom King's Batman issue number 2 drops as well. DC is also bringing us the Hanna-Barbera universe as you've never seen it before in Future Quest issue number 2, and the premiere of the brand new Bedrock in Flintstones #1. Yabba dabba doo. Marvel is coming in huge this week with a ton of books dropping, including its fair share of Civil War II tie-ins. We're getting mutant-centric Civil War II X-Men issue #2, and the adventures of Wilson Fisk in Civil War II Kingpin #1. In Totally Awesome Hulk #8, we're going to find out if Amadeus Cho can handle all the power that the Hulk possesses. Captain America Sam Wilson #11 has Sam choosing sides. And Invincible Iron Man #11 is going to give us a closer look at Tony Stark's side of the conflict. The Spider titles are swinging in left and right this week, and we're going to get Peter Parker in The Amazing Spider-Man #15, and also young Peter Parker in Spidey #8. Miguel O'Hara is fighting to save his future in Spider-Man 2099 issue #12, and Jessica Drew tries to balance parenthood with fighting crime in Spider-Woman #9. There are some great options if you're into anti-heroes out there this week from Marvel. We're getting Daredevil Punisher #3, Punisher #3, and Jeff Lemire takes us deeper into the mental instability of Mark Spector in Moon Knight #4. This week the Marvel Star Wars books keep coming in the form of Han Solo #2 and Poe Dameron #4. Excited about both of these stories and learning more about both of these heroes. Last but not least this week for Marvel, Dan Slott and Mike Allred team up to form the perfect creative duo as they bring Silver Surfer 5 and joy to all of your eye holes. There are 3 great titles dropping from Image this week. We're getting the twisted and horrifying Nailbiter #23. We're getting the phenomenal Paper Girls #7 from Brian K. Vaughan. This week also starts the new story arc for Justin Jordan's Spread in Spread #14. There you have it, guys. That's what's coming out this week. If you're not excited about that, I don't know what to tell you. Guys, that's it for episode 2 of Drew Reviews. Stay tuned for episode 3 coming next week, and I got a comic book haul coming for you on Wednesday as well. Click that subscribe button and you won't miss any of my content. Make sure you hit that thumbs up if you like the video, and talk to me. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Do you have anything that you're looking forward to next week? Do you have anything that you want me to review? Go ahead and let me know, and I will get back to you on that. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.